Sci-Fi here, and today I just finished episode 4. We'll change it to that. And so I did episode so far it was okay. Episode 3 I hated. Give it a 2 out of 10. So our average rating is like the average rating isn't very big. Is it like either? I don't know what the average rating. I can't really average out the numbers. So I started strong with the 6.5 out of 10, then a 7. So that would be a point 0.5 as our average. Then the next episode was a 2. So I'm going to say our average is 2 out of 10 so far. So episode 4, and we see that freaking... I'm going to talk about what I don't like and what I do like. What I don't like so far is that they brought up Kiarimundi. And why? They literally talked about the Sith. Like, they literally introduced the Sith. And I thought, meaning if Qui-Gon told him they're Sith, I thought he would agree with Qui-Gon. Say, hey, yeah, you know what, that would make sense. 100 years ago, there was these people that we were fighting. Jedi killers. We didn't know what they were at the time, but that does make sense. They are. That would be the Sith would return, and he would have agreed with Qui-Gon. I thought of that would make more sense than him not agreeing. So they shouldn't have brought him back. That makes zero sense. I'm so upset about that, and that's annoying. Why they bring Kiarimundi, one of the great Jedi's. If he was such a great Jedi, he would have agreed with Qui-Gon that the Sith returned, but no, they didn't. So I'm upset about that. And then May, who's supposed to be some bad person, changes sides quickly. Like, she changes to become to turn herself into the Jedi and stuff like that. Like, for reals, there was no freaking point. Right? There's, no freaking point. Right? Dude, it's it doesn't make sense, right? Why? Why would they bring Kiarimundi, who denied the Sith in episode 1? They didn't watch Star Wars. They didn't watch it. They would have, if they knew what they were doing, they would have watched Star Wars. People would have watched it and said, no, he cannot be in this episode. And then I saw a Star Wars 3 episode where they're saying it's my show. You can't, just because you can't bring back a character that denied the Sith, and then your only explanation for bringing them back is it's my show. Yeah, we know it's your show. You cannot. It has to make sense. It cannot just be, it's my show. I could do whatever I want, sort of thing. She switches sides so easily. I would have, dude. No, you can't. There has to be a reason for you to switch sides, and her reason, it's stupid. Bro, and then freaking a Jedi gets killed by I don't know who so far, but I know it's not Palpatine, and I don't know. Don't know who it is. Who is the freaking Sith that was obvious that killed and didn't show their face? That's obviously the guy, and literally I thought killed Osha at first, but then I realized he just lifted up his lightsaber. She's fine, alive, and then they go. All the Jedi ignite their sabers. They get a big force blast, and they get pushed out of the way. All of them. Yeah, that makes sense, but dude, one of them is there's only one Padawan with them, and the rest are Jedi Knights or Masters. And bro, that doesn't make sense. But that's fine. But the Force, you can't mess with the Force. The Force, he might be really powerful, Sith or whatever. I don't know. See, he has a red lightsaber. Sith. Literally, those Jedi saw Sith. Red lightsaber. That's a Sith. Right? That's a Sith. Okay? That makes zero sense. Right? They have a freaking red lightsaber. They ignited it. Why would they deny the Sith? Oh, because they didn't tell the High Council. I'm an idiot, bro. Okay, sorry about that. But there's a Sith. Jedi knew the Sith existed. Maybe they were Force ghosts as well. They could have became. They would have told them, and the Jedi would have been ready. They have to make sure this stuff makes sense. They can't just create a show because you want to and then call it a Star Wars project and then add lightsabers and use the word force a million times, and it makes sense. No, it has to be. Oh, there has to be a specific reason behind why this person says this. Like, why? And then it's like, will I ever see you again? Anakin says to his mother, and she's all like, what'd your heart tell you? And he says, I hope so. And then in episode 2, they meet again, and what happens? She dies. That's the reason why he asked. There's specific reasons why these things have to work. And she literally quit so easily. Like, she's a crazy person in episode 3. There was no way. The good parts were that I think that the good parts in it, I don't think I had a favorite part. The only reason I like this show was because of Soul. I like Soul. Soul's probably the best character in that show. The actors know nothing about Star Wars. They know nothing about Star Wars. Like, I know a little bit more than the next person, than just an average person who's just seen the movies and the shows. But I'm reading the books, and it already expands your knowledge about why this happens and they're people's thoughts. So basically, the movie novels about the books tell you their thoughts and about about their thoughts and on this movie, right? But then there's it's just right, but their thoughts about what's happening and stuff, what they're thinking right now in that moment is what the books do, and it gives you their why. It tells you why they feel that way, and that's what makes sense. They need to do that with movies. May not explain it mostly, and honestly, and also I literally was trying to watch Indiana Jones today, and you saw that Indiana Jones Disney removed the first 4 Indiana Jones movies. I'm still confused why. It's literally the most, and they kept number 5. I think, why would they get rid of 5? Why wouldn't they get rid of? Why'd they keep 5 and get rid of the best 4? I mean, I haven't watched number 5, which I want to, but I'm afraid to watch it. I'm afraid to watch projects that I heard aren't good. That I hear that people say this movie was garbage, and I do not recommend the person watch it, and I'm afraid to watch it and stuff like that, right? But the Acolyte this episode had problems I just don't understand. Why would Ki-Adi-Mundi deny the Sith in episode 1 and know about the Sith sort of makes sense? I think if he denied the Sith, there would have to be some sort of reason why. They have to explain why he denies the Sith. Like, he gets his memory wiped or something, I don't know. Somebody wipes it, goes into his mind, and just pulls that specific memory out and throws it away or something, deletes that memory, erases it, or something. They have to this has to make sense, okay? And it doesn't. Episode 4 doesn't make sense. The 2 main problems is a plot hole. The one is a plot hole. That main problem is Ki-Adi-Mundi. Ki-Adi-Mundi shouldn't have been in the episode and stuff. You can't if you want a Jedi, you want to have you want to create characters, not to bring back old legacy characters that people love just so you can just so people will want to watch it. You will have to you have to push this project. You have to only have mentioned their names before, right? You have to make it's like George Lucas's prequels. They only mentioned Anakin's name a few times. He's not. They only say Vader. They only call him Vader. They don't call him Anakin. And but then the prequels, he's Anakin and everything, and he's one of the most powerful Jedi and stuff like that. And the prequels created something amazing, but the Acolyte so far is going down. Episode 1, good show. Episode 2 was the best in the Acolyte, and then episode 3, I'm so upset about that. And episode 4, it makes 0 sense. Why would they bring back Ki-Adi-Mundi? Okay, Ki-Adi-Mundi shouldn't have come back. Ki-Adi-Mundi, episode 4, he shouldn't have been in that. You can bring back. He was a Jedi in the prequels. People know that, unless you're dumb and you don't know anything about Star Wars and you watch Disney stuff, and then you would think that makes sense. And then you watch people who've seen these movies a million times, like I have. And no, it doesn't make sense for Ki-Adi-Mundi to be in the timeline. Keep your characters that you created. Soul, great character. Give him a backstory. I want a show about Soul, because Soul's an actual good character. I want him. Right? And I want the show to make sense. right? I want it to be a good show, but episode 4 is just huge, like, drag down. It's like, episode 4 kind of saves a little bit, but the plot hole. If there's a plot hole in it, and nobody fixed it, nobody saw it when filming, saying that's a plot hole. Kiari was in episode 1. Like, they can't bring back a character and know that in a line in episode 1 he says that's not possible, that the Sith could have returned. He denies that the Siths return. He's all like, that's not possible. The Sith have been extinct for over 1,000 years, right? You cannot make this up. You cannot just say, well, it's my show or whatever. Like, it's your show, but who cares? It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it has to make sense. If you're a little kid watching this, you're probably just don't care. You're just excited to see the freaking lightsaber fights or whatever, or like you don't really care about the story until you get older. Like when I was a kid watching these movies, I didn't care about the story. All I wanted to see was Anakin and Obi-Wan and see lightsaber fights and stuff like that. That's all I wanted to see. I didn't care about anything else. Really, I just think that it doesn't make. I just think it doesn't make sense. I think it only makes sense. Right? Like, it doesn't make sense. You have to. It has to make sense. I'm telling you guys. If an episode doesn't make sense, then there's no point for this character to be in it. Right? If this character doesn't make sense, then you have to fix it. It's like Ahsoka. The character, and there was I hated Ahsoka in the Clone Wars movie. I didn't like her. I didn't like the fact that she was so annoying. And then in the Clone Wars, they gave her an arc to really change her character. They gave her her own arc, a character development arc. Gave her 4 episodes for that to change. That's called character development. You have an annoying character and then people don't like, and then you change her, and then people love her. Like, people don't like Rey. There's people who don't like her because she's a girl. But there's people who don't like her because they don't like Rey. Rey is the worst. They don't like her. They don't think she's that special enough. Just because she's a girl Jedi. There's many girl Jedis. There's many girl characters that I like in Star Wars that I love. There's many girl characters that I like in all sorts of other things because they're good characters. In other projects that isn't Star Wars. Like Marvel projects. There's good women characters that I like. It doesn't matter what gender or race you are. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. It matters the fact that the character or the writing makes sense. It's like people explain this so many times that I'm just telling the truth. They're telling the truth. You cannot bring a character back if it doesn't make sense. Bring up the story. So it starts off and where with what is Kimir and May. They're on the planet, the forest planet. I don't think it was like I can't even remember their name right now. I don't know why. But they're on this planet she's gonna search for the Jedi the Wookiee Jedi to kill her, the Jedi because she hates the Jedi, and then she changes so fast because she thought her sister was dead, but you wanted to kill her because she wanted to join the Jedi. You did not want her to leave. You wanted to kill her. You even said that. I don't know why you made that episode, and then this is why I need to explain it in another episode. Why this happened. You have to keep going. If episode 3 she's a crazy person and wants to kill her sister, then I would think she would want to kill her sister, and her sister would want to try and stop her and train in the way and realize that she shouldn't kill her and that she should try and stop her, and then Osha dies, and then May was like, oh my god, I did something wrong, runs away, comes back, kills Plagueis or something, I don't know, kills Plagueis, and then kills Palpatine or something, I don't know, because Plagueis, and then Palpatine would be dead, and stuff, I don't know, but I guess they wrote but they made these people seem like they were going to be so important in this. The important part that these projects is about life and bringing back Palpatine. Every Disney project since The Rise of Skywalker, people have been saying, and I agree, is to make sense that he comes back. Because it doesn't make sense, and they're trying to make it life can be created. They're talking about the Force and how it flows through all living things, and how, and in comics and legends, how a Sith can take its life force and then put it inside another thing, and then the Mandalorian, it talks about cloning and putting the Force in there, and the Acolyte, I think it's what it's doing about human life, and I'm creating it with the Force. And like, they're doing that because they knew that they realized that Palpatine shouldn't have came back. He died. He didn't need to come back. There was no point in him coming back. I didn't mind it. I thought it was cool, but it didn't make sense, right? It was cool that Palpatine came back, sure, right? But it didn't make sense, right? So episode 4 right now is there's a plot hole, so it's a step down from episode 3. And episode 3 is already bad. Like, I'm telling you. Like, it just is not good. It was not a good episode. The episodes have been getting worse since episode 3, right? Episode 1 and 2, great. It's 3 and 4, horrible. They're so bad, and it doesn't make sense, okay? 4 sucks, and this is my opinions. Please watch this video, and because I really take a lot of time, literally spend my time freaking making these videos and watching this. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next one. Peace.